Hello, it's me again, TFR Wilderness, back again for another KTRT review, and today I have to show you a smaller and like a mini version of a figure that I've already reviewed. Now, back in December of last year, I got hold of this guy. Now this is Geo Mecha Beast Guardian 02 Caiman. Now, I bought him because the new range of figures from Geo Mecha Beast Guardian came out, and I quite like the look of him. I decided to go for one, and I went for Caiman because he looked kind of interesting. However, when I got him, I was very, very disappointed by this figure, mainly because of the lack of decent articulation on the robot mode. I mean, I know Korean toys don't do much in the way of what I refer to as intermediate articulation, you know, bicep swivels, thigh swivels, waist joints, that sort of thing. But they do normally have the basic raft of everyday articulation, like shoulders, elbows, hips and knees. But this guy, let's just take the thing off. I mean, yeah, he's got bicep swivels and he's got shoulders, so don't have a problem with the top half. His head doesn't move, which is a shame, but again, you get that on KTRT sometimes. Now he's got hips that work and are nicely ratcheted, but the biggest problem is the knees. The knees, they don't go backwards and forwards. They just fold inwards as part of the transformation. So you can't get this guy into any meaningful poses in robot mode. You have to have him standing bolt straight up, unless you're doing a sumo squat or something. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I was very disappointed by this toy. Now, I saw recently that Young Toys, which is the company that does these figures, was releasing some mini versions of the Mecha Beasts from the original series, because obviously they're on to season 2 now, which is called Captain Dino. Anyway, so I saw they was doing these mini ones, and they was doing mini versions of the 3 main characters from the original series: Nashorn, Leo Khan, and Caiman. So I thought, I'd like to get one of these, and I thought, well, why don't I get the mini Caiman, and then I can compare it directly to the figure that I've got and see if it's any better or any worse. So here then is mini Caiman. So you can see the size difference, because there's the shield from large Caiman. I'm not prepared to transform him back into his solid mode, as they refer to them, because they refer to this as a solid mode or the shape mode. But I can give you an idea of size comparison with the shield. So you can see it's not quite half size, it's about sort of 2/3 the size. And we'll have a quick look at the box. And as you can see, it says, mini Geo Mecha Caiman, and it's got all this sort of cartoony art on the sides. Now, you look on the art at the back, and it quite clearly shows that Caiman has got working waist joints that go backwards and forwards, but keep that in mind. So yeah, there's the box. And so you start off with this thing, which is the solid or the shape mode, and it's a hexagonal. So yeah, and it does form a much better shape than the big one. So that's one thing up. That's one plus point with this. It forms a much better shape mode. Now, there's not much you can say about it. It's just a solid shape. Doesn't do anything. It's just brightly painted. Everything else is folded away inside. So then, to transform this, you pull the shield off, and if you look on the inside of the shield, it's got storage for the gun and the tail section. So let's just remove the gun. Right, we'll just remove the tail section of the gun and put them to one side for a minute, and same with the shield. And then we start unfolding this. Now, to begin with, you start folding out the legs like so. Then you've got the feet, which you fold down, rotate the legs forward, fold out the heel spurs, and that's the bottom end of the robot done. And then the arms. Now, get this bit at the front. There's a little flap there which you open up. You then split this and fold the arms out. You then rotate them forwards 90 degrees, bring the arms down and turn everything to face the front. And that's the arms. And then finally pull up the head, and a little bit of parts forming. Take the tail section, split it in half, and then there's 2 pegs on the back of the back flap, and you plug it in, and that gives him his tail section. And there we have mini Caiman in his robot mode. And let's do a quick size comparison with the big one, and as you can see, he's a lot smaller than big Caiman in his robot mode. In fact, he's probably barely a third of the size, so he's way smaller. Now, nicely painted. When you compare it to this version, you notice on the chest he's got a lot more paint on this one than he has on that one, because the actual thing is turned around the wrong way. So you can turn that round, but it won't go in that way round on this one. So it's not supposed to go in that way. But they've got it with the crocodile chest facing outwards, which is incorrect. It should be the crocodile chest flips round and then forms the chest plate. So that's a difference that they've done on this mould. Now, if you look at the arms are pretty much the same. They've got the claws on the outside. They've got ball joints instead of pivot joints, so they do work as bicep swivels. The head is virtually identical in every way, including the bit where it doesn't actually rotate. It's fixed solid. On the original one, these are on like a hinged panel. They can close up, they can fold round, they can move all over the place. But on this one, like I said, they're fixed into the back so they don't actually move. Now, this is where things get interesting. Obviously, articulation, the shoulder just moves backwards and forwards 90 degrees. The arm moves out to there, and then you've got ball joint that allows the forearm to move any which way, which when you compare it with the original, that goes round, that goes up to there, and then you've got that and that. So it's pretty much the same articulation on the arms. Then you move down to the legs. Now, this guy, because of the transformation, has got ankle tilts, so you know he can have a ridiculously wide stance, and he could do full splits, right? He also has thigh swivels, which the other one hasn't got, and he's actually got knees that go all the way back. So yeah, he's got it all going on, hasn't he? I mean, the original has got universal hips, no tilts at the ankles, and knees that only bend inwards. However, the hips are fixed. They do not go forwards and backwards. Oh! What the hell, Young Toys? You've ruined another toy. I don't believe this. I mean, look. The original does that. This does nothing. You look on the box, on the art on the back, it clearly shows he can bend his hips forward. They could easily have put a ball joint on there, or they could have had a small rotation joint, turned this into a universal joint, but they didn't. Sometimes makes me wonder what goes on in the minds of the designers at Young Toys and Sonicon when they're designing these toys. I mean, it's fantastic that he's got the rest of it there. You know, he's actually got ankle tilts, and hardly any KTRTs have ankle tilts. Yes, it's part of the it's a transformation joint, but it totally works as an ankle tilt. It's the same with these. They are there as a transformation joint. So basically, all the joints on these legs are purely transformation joints. They are not there for the articulation of the robot mode. As far as Young Toys are concerned, the robot mode has got to stand bolt upright and not move at all. It's just got to look the part. It doesn't have to move, just has to look the part. Now, I'm disappointed yet again. The second time I've bought a toy based on this character, and it's disappointed me again for similar reasons. Lack of articulation on the legs, and it's articulation that could have been easily fixed, quite easily. Now there is another thing. We're talking too much about the robot mode. Obviously this guy has got a third mode. He's got 3 modes. He's got the shape, the robot, and he's got a beast mode. He turns into a crocodile. Does this guy turn into a crocodile? No, he doesn't. He might have a crocodile snout down the front, but that's all he's got. He does not turn into the crocodile. He simply transforms from the shape into the robot. I mean, while we've got the guy in the robot mode, he does come with accessories. He comes with his little gun, which obviously he can hold. But because of the design of the arm, he has to hold it at an angle, because it's just the arm just it's like an RPG, like a missile launcher in the show. And then you've got a little peg that folds out in the shield that plugs into his arm, and then he can hold his shield. Right, so we've shown the accessories. Let's talk about the missing third mode. So yeah, it doesn't transform into the crocodile. Now, I think they could have engineered it in. They could have had the snout hinged at the top, like it is on this one, like that, yeah. They could have had the snout hinged at the top, so when you're transforming it, you can transform the arms into the crocodile, legs. So there are the crocodile legs. And just to prove a point, let's just do this quickly. Right, so there's the crocodile legs on the big Caiman, and you look at the crocodile legs there. So he can form the crocodile legs, right? Now the back end, you basically fold these things up. Admittedly, the big Caiman, he has like tank tracks on his back legs. He doesn't actually form back legs, even though in the show he does walk around on all fours at times. The back legs are a bit of a crap design on but I like to think that is the back legs, because you can see there's some sort of track design moulded in to the side there. Now I like to think if you flip this over, I like to think that sort of looks like a frog. So he does can sort of transform into a beast. So he has kind of got a third mode. I think that looks like a frog. So you can see there the eyes, that's the mouth, there's the front legs, there's the back legs. You know, it looks like a frog. There you go. You can even put that in and have it as like a tongue or something. Yeah. So obviously you can't do anything with the tail because there's nowhere to stick it. So yeah, you can sort of get an alt mode out of, you know, kind of get a beast mode out of it. It's not official, but it hasn't got the crocodile mode. They've engineered it out of this design. So yeah, I'm very disappointed. Again, I can't believe that they screwed this up for yet the second time, this figure. And in the new series, in Captain Dino, you only see the original characters for the first couple of episodes, and now the episodes are purely the new characters that have come in. Tyranno-tooth, Stego Tank, and the pterosaur thing that's just appeared. So yeah, they've got that. Let's put that on there. So I've got him back into his shape mode. Yeah, so very disappointing. Again, I just can't believe that they would mess this thing up. Even though they took out the crocodile mode and just had the solid mode and the robot mode. Why then? Why did they not give it universal hips? Why did they just have hinged hips that hinge outwards? Why no forwards and backwards? Why didn't they give it ball jointed hips? They could have. It could have had legs that went both ways. I'm flabbergasted. Really, I am. So this is kind of a rant. I haven't really bought many figures from Geo Mecha. I've got Raptor, I've got Caiman, and I've got this guy. I haven't got any more. I'm looking at these new figures for Captain Dino. I'm looking at Stego Tank and Tyranno-tooth. And to be honest, Tyranno-tooth parts forming. You basically have to take it apart in order to form the dinosaur mode, and then do the same for the robot mode. It's got parts forming going on. Stego Tank, the engineering on him is much better. There is a little bit of parts forming involved with the robot arms. They're sort of plugged into the back of the Stegosaurus mode. But the articulation on it, again, the hips, they're the back legs of the dino. They come down and they lock in. The hips actually lock in, so he has no hip motion at all. And it's a big figure. You know, I don't even know where I'm going to go for one of the figures from Captain Dino. I don't think I am, but we'll have to see. Anyway, on that bombshell, I'm going to leave this review. It's okay, it's cute. Yeah, the robot mode looks good. It makes a brilliant, you know, hexagonal shape. But no crocodile mode, and again, lack of, you know, much needed articulation on the robot mode legs. Again, they've screwed it up. Young Toys have messed it up again. So yeah, I've been TFR Wilderness. I will catch you next time. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you. Goodbye.